Let's go to Nick Nuttall from the United Nations Environment Program. Nick, you're on the BBC's World Have Your Say. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
What's your response to what you've heard so far?
Well, I mean, you're obviously talking about Arizona to a certain extent, but I mean, one of the fascinating things about water is there's a lot of talk about water wars coming around the world. And funny enough, a lot of research shows, including research done by the UN Environment Program, that actually when push comes to shove, a lot of people actually do cooperate over water. Clearly it is one of the, if not the most important commodity on the planet. And there are something like 3,600 water agreements out there dating back over 4,500 years. And indeed, even in very difficult places like between the Palestinians and the Israelis, when pushes come to shove, they have often cooperated on the water issue. Now, this is, of course, no sign that we're going to end up with a completely peaceful world in the future over water. Certainly climate change and the rapidity of climate change could, in fact, overwhelm the institutional structures which are working together on water all around the world. But certainly there is some hope to see water as not necessarily a war-making mechanism, but actually a peacemaking mechanism.
Nick, thank you very much indeed for clearing that up on World Have Your Say. Ian here is a regular on World Have Your Say. Nice to see you, Ian.
Nice to see you.
Seen your email address enough times over the last few months. We've heard from a lot of people here, the governor of Arizona, Bruce Hallen, a water expert here in Arizona, also the gentleman from the UN, all saying to lesser or greater extents, look, this is a challenge, but it's one that on the whole the world's meeting.
I would agree. I think that the governor and SRP specifically are doing an excellent...
Tell us who SRP are again.
SRP is Salt River Project. They provide water and power to parts of the valley, Phoenix metropolitan area. But I think people are just disillusioned and think that there's plenty of water, there's always going to be water, we don't need to worry about it. It was a year or two ago that our reservoirs were down almost 90% and we were running out of water. We were going to face the situation that the South is facing now. I think people just need to become aware of how much water they're using, how to conserve it, how to recycle it, and become educated about it.
Well, I mean, I'd be curious to know, if you're listening on KJZZ here in Arizona, do you feel you have the necessary information to do the right thing with your water? Do you think you know the best things to do, or do you think, well, actually, the state should be doing more?
This is Bruce Hallen again. Ian is right in that we do need to be very cognizant of our water use, and we do very much need to value the fact that we do live in a desert environment. I will say that here in the Phoenix metropolitan area and many of the other major metropolitan areas in Arizona, they're very well prepared from an investment perspective. You have the Salt River Project, reservoirs that have been in place for over 100 years. He is exactly right. Our reservoirs were at 12% of capacity. What's interesting in this desert environment is within 3 weeks in the winter of 2005, those reservoirs filled. Since 2005, we went right back into the dry period again, and we've seen inflows into our system below normal. We're living off of the storage behind those reservoirs, and essentially that's why we have those reservoirs here in the desert environment. Between the Colorado and the Salt River, those reservoirs are designed to ensure that we have water during drought periods. They aren't there for normal water supply periods. They're there for drought.